Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today, we are talking about dealing with haters as a gig worker. So if you have been in the gig economy for any extended period of time, you've probably seen or heard of some people with some level of negativity towards the work you have been doing. Whether it's your family, your friends, or just dumb comments you hear here and there in person or even on social media. But then you have a dry spell where the gig economy has kind of overall been slowing down in your area and it's harder to hit the same goals that you used to hit with such ease. Then you have to ask yourself questions like, should you leave the gig economy? Did I make a mistake doing this? Is what I am doing the right decision for me and in my life? So with that said, I want to go over the intentions and truths behind some of the people saying those things to you. If you should get a real job if you don't have one already, so that way we can walk you through those thoughts and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over is very market dependent, and what applies to me and my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Let's start with the negative commentary that you may be hearing. Expenses outweigh profit. So this may or may not actually be true, and a lot of it's going to be case by case based on the type of car you're driving, the gas prices in your area. Do you have a trustworthy mechanic, or are you car savvy enough to do it yourself? Are you tracking your miles and your expenses so that way you could write them off? Because there's a huge difference between having a W-2 job and a 1099 income. All of these things are going to matter in terms of actually making money. Tipping culture. Now, I just made a video talking about if tipping culture is actually out of control. I will leave that in the description. Feel free to check that out. But overall, there's a lot of people who will complain about the concept of tipping culture, and it's really just an excuse for them not to tip and to give a terminology to people who actually make a living through tips and not have an issue. Overall, these people just are complaining for the sake of complaining. Working all the time. Being a gig worker is its own lifestyle, it's its own way of living, and it's really not for everybody. The people who have tried being a gig worker full-time and failed, or really they just quit, they didn't really fail, they were not really acting in a business mindset, they were acting in an employee mindset. We'll go over that later. But overall, it's its own lifestyle. You're going to need to find a way to make it more sustainable for yourself, whatever that looks like. Get a real job. Okay, this is just a comment for the sake of hating, but I actually have a few points that I want to go over on this particular subject. The writer's strike has ended and the actor's strike is still going on. And because of that, there is still no Hollywood movies, all because they want a better pay structure, they want protections from AI, and they want to make sure that their image and the thing that they've been working so hard for is protected. But get a real job. UPS has proven that even though they were able to achieve a massive pay increase, they had to have a third of the overall parcel delivery market by the balls in order for them to actually get workable conditions such as air conditioning in their vehicles. But get a real job. Yellow Freight had just shut down out of nowhere, and the workers who have been there for 30 plus years found out that their pensions were not being filled. But get a real job. The United Auto Workers has just drastically increased because they want better working conditions and better pay for the amount of work that they're putting in. But get a real job. The Waffle House was on strike because of the working conditions. Yes, the Waffle House. You know, the one with their own Waffle House index, and if people see that shut down, you know shit's gone down. But get a real job. CVS and Walgreens pharmacy workers are going on strike because of working conditions, because they're overworked to hell and they're very understaffed 99% of the time. But get a real job. Here's the real point. Get a real life. No time for family and friends. Okay, so this one's actually kind of true. A lot of people in the gig economy are entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are like, all right, maybe I should be out. It's a really good day to actually go out. It's like a Saturday. I shouldn't be partying out with the guys or seeing my family on the holidays. I should actually be working so I can make more money so that way they can have the life they want. But in order for you to pay for the life they want, you have to sacrifice your own. This is where you have to be kind of entrepreneurial and actually develop an exit strategy, because the gig economy is an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, not the goal. So that way you can actually spend time with the people you love during the holidays, assuming that they're the people that are actually supporting you. Just because they are your family or your friends, and I'm saying this with air quotes, that doesn't mean they're people you should spend time with, and we'll go over that. Who is hating on you and why? Let's start with the most sensitive prospect, because I think that this is a very important point to bring up. Family. There are many different kinds of family out there, and a lot of people will argue with me to the end of time, and you know what? You are free to feel that way about it any way you'd like, but in my opinion, family is not simply people you have in your life that are related to you by blood. It is the people that you choose to have in your life because that they are worth having around, whatever that looks like. Maybe they're your parents because they've been always supportive to you. Maybe they're your uncles and aunts, maybe cousins, brothers, sisters. I don't have that kind of relationship with my sister. I have that kind of relationship with my dad, but I don't have that with my sister. I don't spend time with her. If you do not support me 100% towards the future I am looking to achieve, then I don't want to spend time with you. There is the family that is there for you no matter what, and then there's the rare occasion family that is kind of there for you and kind of not. And then there's the family that always guilts you into not actually being there when you know you have to work. And if you have people like that in your life, you need to get as far away from them as possible. I don't care if they're perceived family or what have you. Friends. So there are a bunch of different friends that I'm going to be talking about here. There's the friends you have by proximity because they were with you for this event, and now that you're out of this event in your life, you're not with them anymore. Let's say they're your college roommates, or they're your high school friends. Maybe they're your coworkers from an old job or whatever. Maybe they were your friends because you lived on the same block when you were a kid. Maybe they lived in the same building as you when you lived in some apartment complex. Either way, once you leave that area, once you stop doing that thing, maybe you had a hobby that you were all committed to, and now that you stop doing it, you're no longer part of that life. So those are friends by proximity. They should not have any influence outside of your normal life. Then there's the friends you kind of grow out of. As you get older, maybe there are some friends you stick with over time, but your interests have changed. Your lifestyle has changed. Your mindset, the way you think about money has changed. So you don't relate to that person as much at all anymore. Then there's the good time people. The people who are only there when you're ready to pop the champagne and all that. You actually made it to a successful point in your life through the gig economy or whatever that looks like, and they're only around for the good times. Those are acquaintances at best. Oh, and then there's the acquaintances in the name of friends. Kind of like the rare occasion family. They're only there for the good times. Those people shouldn't have real influence in your lives. You know what a real friend is? Is somebody who's there for you no matter what choices you make. Find some real friends. Then there's the random people you'll find on the internet. This can come in different forms. These are your haters. These are the people that have anger towards everyone reaching success. What's cool about haters, though, is that they're equal opportunity haters. Sometimes it's about you specifically, but in most cases, it's a bit more about you making just a little bit more money than them. No matter how small that difference actually is, because in their mind, anybody who has any ounce of success beyond theirs is a problem. So they're just gonna hate you for that specifically. Then there's the manipulative customers who always say, oh, I tip after service, which we know they don't. Anti-tipping culture who just hates the entire concept of tipping anyway, probably claims that they're from another country or something. Even other gig workers who don't like that you're doing something different than them. Like you're making a little bit more in your area and suddenly that's an issue. So they'll probably acknowledge the amount amount of miles you're driving or something like that. Those people should not have that kind of influence over you. Restaurant workers. You know, the people that discriminate against you specifically. The people who put you in the same category as people who have gone viral because somebody posted about them having a mishap with a handful of gig workers. So they'll start to do things that don't seem intentional, but over time you pick up on what they're doing. Blatantly ignoring you when you're trying to ask them for your order. Prioritizing your order last and then putting the blame on you. Going so far as to leave your order in the back, ignoring it multiple times, and even taking other orders, finishing them before they even look at yours. There have been people on the internet that have admitted to intentionally leaving the order in the back, knowing that a gig worker was there. That's disgusting. Choosing not to start the order until you arrive. Refusing to fill up drinks, even though most customers prefer that job to be in the hands of the restaurant. There have been many people that have said, no, I don't want the drink if the gig worker is filling it up. But they'll still put that on the gig worker. Withholding essential tools in order for you to do your job. You know those cup holders that hold the drinks that you're supposed to receive when having multiple drinks in your hand? There have been times where some restaurants, I have to actually ask for those things because they won't actually provide them. Like, what the heck is that? All of this because you're making money in a different way than them, and they just seem bitter about the fact that you earn in a different way and leads to you earning more. People with semi-relative experience. These are the people who were a pizza delivery driver at Domino's or Papa John's. Maybe they were a waiter or waitress somewhere, or a freelancer of any kind, and they just want to hate on you for the sake of hating on you. Either way, those people kind of fall into the same category as random people on the internet and should not have any influence over you. Should you get a real job? Everyone's situation is case by case and everyone's values are going to be different. In my opinion, I would say regardless of whether you're a gig worker or an employee or really any job that depends on your activity to keep the needle moving, is to have an exit strategy. Because the gig economy is an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, not the goal. Have multiple streams and sources of income. A source of income is a way for you to earn money, and a stream of income is something you set up that makes money for you. A good example of a source of income would be Doordash, UberEats, Grubhub, a normal W-2 job, a job where you work on commission. And a stream of income is a way that you earn money passively. Maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's real estate, maybe it's stocks, whatever. Also, the path that has the most resistance is usually the right one, so do what you will with that information. Did I miss anything? Is there something else about dealing with haters as a gig worker that I've yet to cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that anybody and everybody has the mental fortitude that they need based on everything they should expect going into being a gig worker or even being a gig worker for a long time and not knowing what to expect in the future. So that way they can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!